Hi everyone, this is a Sorry I Don't podcast, and this week we're talking about the film Titanic. Titanic came out in 1997. It was directed by, and apparently also I've just learned, written by James Cameron. And basically coming into this, I love this film so much, and I have done since I was, I don't know, I feel like I watched parts of it when I was like 4, which I definitely shouldn't have.
Yeah, same.
And then I saw it like full way through when I was 9 for the first time, and it honestly like sort of mentally affected me in a way that I never fully recovered from.
Yeah, same with me really. It was kind of like watching it from a very young age and being like absolutely bowled over by how sad it made me as a wee boy. But no, we thought it was a good one to talk about because Abby and I both have these strong emotional connections from a young age, then reflected through our like of film and media as we grew up, and now that's maybe influenced it a little bit, but still with that core. And Claude does not have that opinion or history with it.
No, do you know, I can't remember what age I was when I watched Titanic for the first time, but I know I didn't watch all of it. I watched the latter half because it's better, and I think my mum told me to watch just the latter half because she was like, yeah, the start is shite. And then later on, I watched the first half and I was like, yeah, she was right.
Yeah, and then
shite.
And that would probably influence your opinion of the second half then, because you'd be like, oh, well, is it all just shite then?
Yeah. But I watched it again full, all at the same time the other night for this. And yeah, my opinion hasn't shifted much.
Great. But no, we thought it would be quite good to cover just because it's the 25th anniversary, just like a few months back. And
Apparently they did this thing where like they released it in cinemas as a special thing for Valentine's Day, and like we'll get there, but the way that I looked and sounded after the runtime of this film had completed is not a way that I would ever want to look or sound in the presence of a romantic partner.
The way you looked and sounded,
I mean, you were also
that was
there.
pretty bad as well.
It was just so funny because I kept like, anyway, we'll get to it, but I was suspicious that you were crying, and I was like, surely not.
Surely not. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was.
I'm actually quite glad we watched that together though, because I feel like I would have been so bummed out if that was me.
Right.
But yeah, well, no, when I say that I've got a history with Twilight and a strong emotional connection to this, like Twilight, Titanic.
Well, you do.
When I say that I've got a history with Titanic and like a strong emotional connection to it from my childhood, when I watched it the full way through when I was 9, I was at a sleepover, and it was right before the summer holidays. I went on holiday with my dad like a week later, and it was in some like seaside town in France, and I swear to God, I spent the entire week just like wistfully looking at boats. But like, I don't think I told anyone why I was so sad and forlorn, so my dad just thought I was like depressed, which honestly I think I was. I was just like so like absolutely like arrested by this film. It had such an impact on me. I absolutely was so devastated by the end of the film, and I was spending this like anytime anything like the mention of the sea, one of my friends had like nautical themed stuff in her bathroom, and that bummed me out. I then became obsessed with the Titanic, like, and I mean I was already had an interest in it before I watched the film. I became obsessed. I carried Titanic books around with me. I watched every documentary. I tried to recreate the Titanic as much as possible with Jenga blocks, which really, again, my friends were like, "Why are you trying to play Jenga here? Stop trying to rebuild the Titanic."
Oh, I love hanging out with Abby. We get to play with our new games, Jenga, the sinking of the HMS Titanic, real battle of laughs with her. What age were you when you first saw it?
9.
Right.
It culminated in I went to the Titanic Museum when I again was like maybe like 10 or 11, and I got a big poster for my wall which was like huge, and it went up in my bedroom all the way that I'm sure you had pictures of Edward Cullen. It was just the front page of the New York Times like when the Titanic sank, saying how many people had died. And again, that was like a really difficult one for my mum to explain to guests because it was just so like morbid. And I asked my school if we could do an assembly to commemorate the 97th anniversary of the sinking of the Titanic.
Not even the 100th. Not even the 95th.
I was like, really, I campaigned for this. I tried to start a petition. Like, I just don't think I quite got that no one was as affected by it 97 years later at the age of about 9 as I was. But yeah, it was like, to the point where I actually haven't seen this film in years because I think I had to like,
Take a chill pill from
fucking break.
take a step back.
so you wouldn't re-traumatize yourself.
Yeah, I'm worried this has awoken something in me.
I know, like, you should have seen it. Like, I'd obviously, in spite of myself, found it very overly emotional. And, you know, I've got criticism of the film, but by the end, I was, you know, there was things I was sobbing at. We'll talk about it as we get to it. And I was, you know, properly having a wee cry. It was great, cathartic. And I just, it ends, the music's playing, I turn off to Abby, and I'm like, oh man, you all right? And then I just said, and then she just like fully just broke
it wasn't
down.
it wasn't like a dignified
gradual.
tear.
No, listen,
it was
I've
fully sobbing.
I've been through that. And you know I've been through
The thing
that.
is, I don't even think
It was
it's like
very funny,
I don't
though.
think it's an amazing film.